Okay, what we're going to find when we work in Photoshop and we're designing for the web, that the shape tool becomes a very powerful tool. And we can see that we have these different options over here. And I'm going to start with the rectangle. And what I can see is as I start to work with these that I can set them as a shape, as path, as pixels. So if I click it on to shape, let's start with it as a shape. Now I can choose a color. And maybe what I'm going to do is choose more of a gray. I can also set a stroke if I'd like to. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come on in and draw a shape. All right, so there we have it. Now, what we're going to find too is that the shape is going to be on its own layer. Now, what I can do too is I want to move this when I click on to when working with shape to the move tool, I can see that it gets to a certain size. And what I want to do is I'm going to make this bigger. And I actually want to fill this space with this color right in here. I'm going to hit apply and I can click off, okay? Now, what else I could do if I wanted to, I could take the same color and put it down at the bottom. So I could say that maybe I want up in here this to be more of like a top nav bar, top nav background. Okay, now what I might want to say too with my shapes, again, putting different images out, moving this down a little bit. Now, what happened here too, I was able to select this image. What I'm doing, and I always have to place it, is I'm hovering up here and I'm selecting the move tool. So again, whenever we click on the move tool, we get these different images. Now, if you're not getting that happen, you need to make sure that auto select is selected. So check it out. See, when I don't do that, I don't get it. So I need auto select. Again, so when I click, you can see that I move from all these different layers as I click. Okay, so now let's say that I want to even just, I don't really worry so much about this if it's a tad bit distorted because the image doesn't really matter. I always need to place the file. Now I could also, create a space for a logo. So I'm just going to create the space for it. So I could come on in, I could grab this shape right here, and I'm going to just put in a circular shape. I'm going to hold down Shift. When I hold down Shift, I'm going to get a perfect circle. And that's what I want. Now, maybe what I'll do here is I'll come on in and I will add a little bit of a stroke. So I can set, the point size of the stroke as well. All right, so now this is the story too, right? This ellipse is behind this. That is because of the order of the layers. So I can come on in and change the order of the layers, and what I'll see is that whatever is on top is on top. So I'm going to put my logo in right here, start moving the nav bar in and around right in there. Again, I'm working with placing things how I would like them to be, making things bigger if I'd like to, so on and so forth. Okay, so now let's say that I wanted to make a little bit of a space for a footer. I could do that as well. So again, maybe I want to just duplicate this layer, right? So I come on up, layer, duplicate layer. Okay, and I'm gonna name this one right here footer, and I was able to do that by hovering. I'm gonna just double click. I'm gonna get rid of the word copy. Okay, and I can see then I can take one of these, and hopefully I have the footer. Actually, I don't have the footer. The footer's underneath. This is the footer. So I want to take this, bring it on down, and take my top nav and bring it on up. All right. And again, maybe I want to make this a little bit smaller, even bring this up a little bit. Bring this on up. Great. All right, so I'm moving everything around, and you can see that what I'm working on right now is just a really brief, easy overview for building a website. Again, I think the best thing when you're working with the shape tools is just stick with shape. And what we can do here too is we can work with the fill, we can work with the point size. Now, we can also work with the type of line that's on it. So if I come on in and I click back onto this, and I want to, edit it, right? I can come on in and I can change. I can even get more options and play around with this even a little bit more. But something that's really important, what I had to do was I had to select it, then I had to hit the shape tool again to get some of those different tools. Now I can see that it has those dashed lines around it. So there we have it. The shapes are really powerful. And again, as we work with the web, we are designing and moving everything out into different layers. I'm going to put the logo in right there. Thanks for listening.